Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins Collections, where we uncover the secrets of rare and valuable coins from around the world. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most sought-after pennies from the United States, the 1961 1-cent coin. Now, at first glance, it may seem like just another regular penny from the 1960s, but let me tell you, this little coin holds a surprising story and incredible value that you won't want to miss. So stick around until the end, because we're going to reveal just how much this penny could be worth today, and it's more than you might expect. Let's take a step back in time and set the stage for the 1961 1-cent coin. The year 1961 was a pivotal time in American history. It was the start of a new decade, and the United States was in the midst of a vibrant post-war economy. President John F. Kennedy had just taken office, and the nation was embarking on the space race, as well as grappling with the complexities of the Cold War. Economically, the U.S. was transitioning into an era of rapid industrialization, and coins like the 1961 penny were circulating in large numbers to meet the demands of the growing population. At that time, the penny was still made of copper, a key element that would soon be phased out in favor of cheaper materials in the years to come. Now, let's talk about the design of this iconic penny. The obverse, or front, of the 1961 penny features the profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, has been in use since 1909, making Lincoln's portrait one of the longest-standing designs in U.S. coin history. The word Liberty arches above Lincoln's image, with the year 1961 just below. On the reverse side, you'll find a simple yet elegant depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of the nation's strength and unity. Above it, the words E pluribus unum, which means, out of many, one, and below, the phrase, 1 cent, reminds us of the value of this small but mighty coin. Now, while the design of the 1961 penny may seem standard, the true value of this coin lies in its mint mark. Mint marks are small letters stamped onto coins to indicate where they were produced. The 1961 penny came with 3 potential mint marks, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and the absence of a mint mark, which signifies the Philadelphia Mint. Here's where things get interesting. While all 1961 pennies are generally worth a few cents, the value dramatically increases depending on the mint mark. The 1961 S penny, in particular, is the one that has become the focus of attention for collectors, and here's why: it is considerably rarer than its counterparts, especially in uncirculated or high-grade condition. So, what makes the 1961 S penny such a hot commodity? It all comes down to the minting process and how these coins were handled after they were produced. In 1961, the San Francisco Mint produced a limited number of pennies, and many of those that were struck in the S Mint facility didn't make it through the circulation process unscathed. Due to wear and tear over the decades, only a small percentage of these coins have remained in mint condition, and this rarity is what drives up their value. If you happen to find a 1961 S penny in pristine condition, or one that has been well preserved in high grades, such as MS65 or better, you found something truly special. When it comes to coin collecting, the condition is everything. A coin's condition is graded on a scale from good, G, to perfect, MS70. The better the condition, the higher the value. The most desirable 1961 S pennies are those that are in uncirculated or near perfect condition, which is where things really start to get exciting for collectors, but that's not all. Some of these 1961 pennies have been found with minting errors, which can also drive up the price. These errors could include things like double strikes, off-center impressions, or misaligned dies, all of which are incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. If you have a 1961 S penny with one of these errors, it could be worth even more than a standard high-grade coin. Error coins are always in demand because they are unique and represent a part of history that can't be replicated. So, if you happen to come across a 1961 penny with any unusual markings, it's worth taking a closer look to see if it might be a rare variant. Alright, now for the big reveal. So, how much is the 1961 S penny really worth? If you have an uncirculated 1961 S penny in near perfect condition, you could be holding on to a small fortune. A 1961 S penny in mint state 65 or higher can easily be worth several $100s, but if you're lucky enough to have one of these rare coins in exceptional condition, or even a coin with a minting error, it could fetch a truly eye-watering sum. And here's the kicker: a 1961 S penny, in exceptional condition, has been known to sell for as much as $35,000. $35,000. Yes, you heard that right, $35,000 for a single penny. So, if you've got an old jar of pennies sitting around, it might be time to start sorting through them. The 1961 penny, especially those with the S mint mark, could be worth a lot more than you think. If you find one in great condition or with an error, you could have a hidden treasure worth thousands of dollars. Today, we're going to take a closer look at an iconic coin from the United States of America, the 1976 1-cent coin. Now, you might be thinking, a penny from 1976. What's so special about that? Well, trust me, this isn't just any ordinary penny. There's a lot more to this small coin than meets the eye, and it could be worth a lot more than you think. Stick around, because at the end of this video, I'll reveal how much this coin could be worth today, and it's an amount that might just blow your mind. Let's set the stage. The year 1976 was a monumental one in American history. It marked the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and the entire nation was celebrating the bicentennial. There were events, parades, and celebrations all across the United States, and this is where the 1976 penny comes into the picture. As part of the bicentennial celebrations, the U.S. Mint made some special changes to its coinage. While the 1976 penny itself didn't receive the same drastic changes that the quarter and half dollar saw, with new reverse designs, there was still something special about these coins that made them stand out during this patriotic year. This was a time of immense national pride, and the 1976 penny, while still bearing the traditional Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse, carries with it the historical significance of the bicentennial celebrations. But let's get into what makes this coin really interesting and valuable. Now, you might already be familiar with the design of the 1976 penny, but let's break it down for a moment. On the obverse side, the front, we have the classic image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, has been in use since 1909. The portrait of Lincoln is surrounded by the words "Liberty" and the year 1976, along with the motto **** in God we trust. On the reverse side, you'll find the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial, which has adorned the back of the penny since 1959. Above the memorial, the words "E pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," are inscribed, with the word 1 cent beneath it. There's nothing particularly groundbreaking about the design of the 1976 penny, but it's the rarity and condition that can make all the difference in its value. One of the key things that can dramatically affect the value of a coin is its mint mark. In 1976, the U.S. Mint produced pennies at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each of these mints left a mark on the coin to indicate where it was made. If the penny was struck in Philadelphia, it has no mint mark. If it was struck in Denver, it carries the D mint mark, and if it was struck in San Francisco, it bears the S mint mark. Now, you might think that all 1976 pennies are created equal, but the mint mark plays a huge role in determining its rarity and, ultimately, its value. So, what makes the 1976 1-cent coin so special, and why is it worth so much to collectors? The 1976 penny, especially those with an S mint mark, produced at the San Francisco Mint, are highly sought after in uncirculated or high-grade condition. But here's where things get really interesting: many of the 1976 pennies were circulated heavily and have been damaged by time, wear, and the elements, which makes those in mint condition increasingly rare. Uncirculated coins, or those that have never been used in transactions, are significantly more valuable than those that show signs of wear. But there's more to the value than just condition. Some 1976 pennies, especially those from the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S, were struck in smaller quantities, which makes them harder to find today. This rarity is what fuels their high value in the market. another reason why the 1976 penny is so highly collectible is due to the minting errors that can sometimes occur during production. These mistakes can include things like double strikes, off-center designs, or die cracks, and they are incredibly valuable to collectors. In fact, error coins often fetch much higher prices than their standard counterparts. If you happen to find a 1976 penny with an unusual feature or flaw, such as an off-center strike, a double die, or any other minting anomaly, you might be holding a coin that's worth significantly more than the typical value. Collectors love to chase these error coins because they are unique and can't be replicated. So, always keep your eyes peeled when you're looking through your collection or going through a jar of old pennies. Here's the part you've all been waiting for. How much is the 1976 penny actually worth? Well, let's start with the basic ones. In general, most 1976 pennies aren't worth much more than their face value of 1 cent. However, the 1976 pennies, especially those in uncirculated condition or with minting errors, can be worth hundreds of dollars, but here's where it gets even more exciting. If you have a 1976 penny that's in absolutely perfect condition, especially one with an S mint mark from the San Francisco Mint, you could be looking at a coin worth thousands of dollars. And if you happen to find a rare 1976 penny with a significant minting error, the price can skyrocket. In fact, some of the most valuable 1976 pennies have been known to sell for as much as $38,000. $38,000. That's right, $38,000 for a single 1976 penny. If you've got one in your collection or happen to come across one, it could be worth much more than you ever imagined. So, take a moment to go through your old pennies, especially those with the S mint mark, and check their condition. You could have a hidden treasure worth a fortune. Today, we're going to take a close look at a coin that you might just have lying around in your collection, or even in an old jar of change, the 1971 1-cent coin. It may seem like just another penny at first glance, but there's a lot more to this small coin than meets the eye. Stick around until the end, because we're going to reveal just how much this coin is actually worth today, and trust me, it's a figure that might surprise you. Let's start with some context. The 1971 penny was minted during a unique time in American history. It was the beginning of the 1970s, and the nation was in the midst of a social and cultural revolution. The U.S. was experiencing political shifts, economic changes, and social upheaval, all of which were mirrored in its coinage. 1971 was a pivotal year in the world of U.S. currency. This was the year that the United States moved off the gold standard, meaning that the U.S. dollar was no longer directly linked to gold reserves. This economic change was significant, and it had a lasting impact on the way currency was viewed and used in the country. In terms of coinage, the penny, which had been made of pure copper since the 19th century, was changed to a copper-plated zinc composition in 1971. This was a response to rising copper prices, which made it more expensive to produce coins using solid copper. From 1971 onward, pennies were made with a core of zinc, and a thin layer of copper was plated over it, making it cheaper and more economical to produce. While the coin itself underwent a material change, the design stayed the same, featuring the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. So, what makes the 1971 penny stand out? Well, while it may look like just another penny, there's a deeper history behind it. On the obverse, you'll find Abraham Lincoln's portrait, which has been part of the penny design since 1909. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, shows Lincoln facing right, with the words "Liberty" to the left, and "In God We Trust" above his head. Below Lincoln, the year 1971 is inscribed. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find an image of the Lincoln Memorial, which has been the reverse design on pennies since 1959. This powerful symbol of the nation's strength and unity continues to grace the back of the penny to this day. Beneath the memorial are the words "E pluribus unum," which means, out of many, one, and the denomination, 1 cent. It's a simple design, but it carries with it a wealth of history. And although the 1971 penny may seem like just another run-of-the-mill coin, it's actually a key date in the history of U.S. currency, and it's that connection to history that makes it valuable to collectors. Now, let's talk about the mint mark. You may have noticed that not all coins are the same, and this holds true for the 1971 penny as well. The mint mark is a small letter on the coin that indicates where it was minted. In 1971, the U.S. Mint produced pennies at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, mint mark D; San Francisco, mint mark S. While all 3 of these mint marks appear on the 1971 penny, the San Francisco S mint mark coins are significantly rarer than the others. Most of the 1971 pennies were struck in Philadelphia and Denver, and while these coins are still common, those with an S mint mark are much harder to find, especially in uncirculated or high-grade condition. If you come across a 1971 penny with an S mint mark, you may have just found a hidden gem. These coins were struck in smaller numbers compared to their counterparts, and finding them in mint condition is becoming increasingly rare. Now, let's talk about the importance of condition. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin's grade determines its value, and a penny in mint state can be worth far more than one that has been heavily circulated. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 1 being the lowest grade, heavily worn, and 70 being the highest, perfect, uncirculated. Here's a quick rundown of some common grades you'll encounter. Good, G, the coin is heavily worn, and the details are barely visible. Fine, F, the coin shows noticeable wear, but the details are still discernible. Very fine, VF, the coin is worn but still shows most of the design features. Extremely fine, EF, the coin shows minimal wear, and the details are sharp. Mint state. MS, the coin has never been circulated and is in perfect or near perfect condition. The 1971 S penny in uncirculated or high-grade condition is much rarer than those with the D or no mint mark. A mint state 65 or higher 1971 S penny is a coin that collectors are willing to pay a premium for, and that premium can be significant. Now, let's add another layer to this. Some 1971 pennies have been found with minting errors, and those errors can drastically increase the value of the coin. Minting errors can include things like double strikes, off-center designs, die cracks, or clashed dies. These types of errors happen when something goes wrong during the production process, and they result in unique coins that collectors can't find anywhere else. Error coins are always in high demand because they're rare, and a 1971 penny with an error can be worth much more than a typical penny. If you think you found a minting error, it's a good idea to get the coin professionally appraised. It could be a hidden treasure, so, you're probably wondering, how much is a 1971 penny really worth? Well, the value of the 1971 penny largely depends on its mint mark, condition, and whether it has any minting errors. But here's where things get really exciting. A standard 1971 penny with a no mint mark or D mint mark is generally worth around a few cents. Nothing too exciting, but a 1971 S penny in mint condition or uncirculated can fetch hundreds of dollars, and for those of you lucky enough to have a 1971 penny with a minting error, especially one in high grade, you could see the value skyrocket. Now, hold on to your seats, because here's the big reveal: the 1971 S penny, in perfect condition or with a significant error, can sell for as much as $42,000, $42,000. Yes, you heard that right, $42,000 for a single 1971 penny. That's right, $42,000. So, the next time you come across a 1971 penny, don't just brush it off as pocket change. Take a closer look, check the mint mark, assess its condition, and see if it has any potential minting errors. You could be holding on to a small fortune. Today, we've got an exciting one for you: the 1973 1-cent coin. You might be thinking, a penny from 1973? That can't be worth much. Well, hold on to your seats, because this seemingly ordinary penny could be hiding some extraordinary value. You'll definitely want to stick around until the end, because we're about to reveal how much this coin could actually be worth, and trust me, it's an amount that'll surprise you. So, let's jump right in and discover the hidden value of the 1973 1-cent coin. Let's start with some history to set the stage. The year 1973 was a significant one for the United States. The Vietnam War had recently ended, the Watergate scandal was making headlines, and the country was facing rising inflation and economic uncertainty due to the oil crisis. Amidst all of these turbulent times, the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins, and the 1973 penny was no exception. At this time, the penny was still made from a copper core, and it featured the classic designs that had been in use for years. However, 1973 would be one of the final years before the U.S. would switch to a copper-plated zinc composition for pennies, which would come into effect in 1982. So, the 1973 1-cent coin is made from solid copper, a detail that will make it especially interesting to collectors who are looking for coins made from this now obsolete material. While the penny wasn't the subject of any major design changes in 1973, it was still a part of a significant moment in U.S. history. So, what's the big deal about this coin? Let's dig into the design and the factors that make the 1973 penny so valuable. The 1973 penny is nothing new in terms of its design. It's the familiar Lincoln Memorial reverse and Abraham Lincoln obverse, which have been a staple of U.S. coinage for decades. On the obverse, you'll find the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this image of Lincoln facing to the right has been on the penny since 1909, and it's one of the most recognizable coin designs in the world. Surrounding the portrait are the words, "Liberty," to the left, the motto, "In God We Trust," above, and the year, 1973, beneath Lincoln's bust. On the reverse side of the coin, we see the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a symbol of national unity and strength. Above the memorial are the words, "E pluribus unum," and below, you'll see the denomination, 1 cent. This reverse design has been in use since 1959, and it's one of the most beloved elements of U.S. coinage. But let's not get too comfortable with the design, because it's the rarity, condition, and unique features that make this coin truly valuable. Now, one of the key factors that can significantly affect the value of a coin is the mint mark. The 1973 penny was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, mint mark D; San Francisco, mint mark S. The majority of 1973 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, so these are much more common. However, the 1973 S penny, minted in San Francisco, is less common and can be much more valuable, especially if you're lucky enough to find one in uncirculated condition or with a high-grade rating. Interestingly, the San Francisco Mint primarily produced proof coins, which were struck with extra care and precision for collectors. As a result, the 1973 S penny from the San Francisco Mint can be worth significantly more than pennies minted in Philadelphia or Denver, especially in pristine, uncirculated condition. And while proof coins are often made in limited quantities, the presence of a mint mark plays a major role in determining the rarity of the coin. When it comes to determining the value of a coin, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 1 being the lowest grade and 70 being the highest grade. Here's a breakdown of some common grades you might encounter when assessing your 1973 penny. Good: the coin shows heavy wear, and many details are difficult to distinguish. Fine: the coin has more noticeable wear, but the design is still visible. Very thin: the coin shows wear, but the design remains sharp. Extremely: the coin has minimal wear and retains much of its detail. Mint state: the coin is in perfect, uncirculated condition and shows no signs of wear. This is what collectors are after: the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 1973 penny in mint state or proof condition can easily be worth a lot more than a coin that's been heavily circulated. Another factor that can significantly increase the value of the 1973 penny is the presence of minting errors. These errors happen when something goes wrong during the production process, and the result is a unique coin. Minting errors can include things like double strikes: the coin is struck twice by the die, resulting in overlapping images. Off-center strikes: the design is not aligned properly on the coin. Die cracks: a crack or line appears on the die, creating an unusual pattern on the coin. Clash dies: this occurs when the obverse and reverse dies come together without a coin between them, creating a ghost image on the coin. These types of errors are highly sought after by collectors, and a 1973 penny with a minting error can be worth significantly more than a regular penny. So, you're probably wondering, how much is the 1973 penny really worth? Well, let's break it down. A standard 1973 penny with a no mint mark or D mint mark is typically worth just a few cents. Maybe a little more if it's in great condition. A 1973's penny in proof condition or uncirculated can be worth a few $100s, depending on its quality. But here's where it gets exciting. If you've got a 1973 penny that's in perfect uncirculated condition, especially one with an S mint mark, it could be worth several $1,000s, and if you happen to come across a 1973 penny with a minting error, that value could skyrocket, with some error coins fetching serious money at auction. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The 1973 penny in mint state or with a rare minting error could be worth as much as $45,000. Yes, that's right, $45,000 for a single 1973 penny. It might sound unbelievable, but these types of rare and valuable coins are out there, waiting to be discovered. So, next time you're going through your coin collection or hunting for old pennies, don't just pass over the 1973 penny. Take a closer look, check for the mint mark, and assess the coin's condition. If you've got a high-grade 1973 penny, or if you find one with a minting error, you might just be holding on to a small fortune. Today, we're going to shine the spotlight on a coin from the 1980s, specifically, the 1981 1-cent coin. At first glance, it may seem like just another run-of-the-mill penny, but trust me, this coin could be worth far more than you'd expect. So, if you have a 1981 penny lying around in your collection, or you come across one during your next coin hunt, you'll definitely want to pay close attention, because by the end of this video, you'll be shocked to learn exactly how much this coin could be worth. Let's dive in. Before we get into the exciting details about the 1981 penny, let's take a quick step back and talk about what was happening in the United States during this time. The year 1981 was a significant year in U.S. history. Ronald Reagan had just taken office as the 40th President of the United States, and the country was experiencing a shift in both politics and economics. The Cold War was still ongoing, the Iran hostage crisis had just ended, and the economy was dealing with stagflation, a combination of high inflation and high unemployment rates. In the world of U.S. coinage, the 1981 penny is a bit of a transitional coin. The United States was still using the traditional copper alloy pennies, but that would change just a year later in 1982, when the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-plated zinc composition. This change was driven by the rising cost of copper and the need to reduce production costs. So, the 1981 1-cent coin is one of the last pennies made with a higher percentage of copper, and this fact alone makes it an interesting piece for collectors. Now, let's take a closer look at the design and what makes this coin so special. The 1981 penny features the classic design that's become synonymous with U.S. coinage: Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Obverse on the obverse, you'll find Abraham Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, facing to the right. This design has been featured on the penny since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. The inscription, "Liberty," appears to the left of Lincoln's portrait, while the phrase, "In God We Trust," runs along the top, and the year 1981 is inscribed below Lincoln's bust. Reverse. On the reverse, you'll see the image of the Lincoln Memorial, which has been used on pennies since 1959. This iconic structure, located in Washington, D.C., symbolizes the nation's strength and unity. Above the memorial are the words, "E pluribus unum," and below, you'll find the denomination, 1 cent. Although this design is familiar and has been in use for decades, there are factors, like mint marks, condition, and rarities, that can significantly impact the value of this coin. Now, here's where it gets interesting. One of the things that can make a 1981 penny valuable is its mint mark. The mint mark indicates which U.S. mint facility produced the coin, and in 1981, the penny was minted at 3 different locations: Denver, San Francisco. Most of the 1981 pennies were produced in Philadelphia and Denver, but the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins, which were made with extra care and precision. These proof coins were struck using specially polished dies and are typically in better condition than coins made for general circulation. If you happen to find a 1981 proof penny, it's a great find and can be more valuable than a regular circulated coin, but here's the catch: the 1981 penny produced in San Francisco is much rarer than those produced in Philadelphia and Denver, making it more desirable to collectors. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin's grade determines its market value, and a coin in pristine condition can be worth much more than a heavily worn one. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 1 being the lowest grade and 70 being a perfect, uncirculated coin. Here's a quick look at some common grades you might encounter. Good, the coin is worn, and details are barely visible. Fine, the coin shows wear, but most of the design is still visible. Very fine, the coin is worn but has well-defined features. Extremely fine, the coin shows minimal wear, and the design is almost perfect. Mint state, the coin is in perfect, uncirculated condition. A 1981 penny in mint state is highly prized by collectors and can command a much higher price than one that has been circulated. So, if you have a pristine 1981 penny, you may be sitting on something valuable. Another factor that can make your 1981 penny worth far more than its face value is the presence of minting errors. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin's production, resulting in a unique or misstruck coin. Here are a few errors you should look out for in the 1981 penny. Double strikes. This occurs when the coin is struck twice by the die, causing an overlapping or blurred image. Off-center strikes. The design is not properly centered on the coin, making it look skewed or misaligned. Die cracks. A crack or line appears on the die, leaving a pattern on the coin. Clash dies. This happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a coin in between, resulting in a ghosted image of the other side. Coins with minting errors are highly sought after by collectors because they are unique and can be worth a lot more than standard issue coins. If you suspect your 1981 penny has an error, it's worth getting it professionally graded to see if you found a hidden treasure. So, now you're probably wondering, how much is the 1981 penny worth? Well, it depends on several factors, including the mint mark, condition, and whether the coin has any minting errors. Here's a breakdown. Standard 1981 pennies with a no mint mark or D mint mark are worth a few cents in average condition. 1981 pennies with the San Francisco mint mark are worth a few dollars. 1981 pennies in high grade, mint state, or proof condition can be worth hundreds of dollars, especially if they're from the San Francisco Mint. And, of course, 1981 pennies with minting errors can fetch significantly more. If you happen to find a coin with a rare minting error, it could be worth thousands of dollars. Now, for the big reveal: if you have an exceptionally rare 1981 penny, especially one in mint condition, proof quality, or with a minting error, the value could be as high as $48,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $48,000 for a single 1981 penny. It's not every day that you find a coin with such value, but if you're lucky enough to have one, it could be worth a small fortune. So, there you have it. The 1981 penny may seem like just another penny, but it can actually be worth thousands, or even $48,000, if you have one in the right condition, with a rare mint mark or a unique minting error. If you have a 1981 penny in your collection, or if you come across one in your coin hunts, make sure to take a closer look. The right penny could be a hidden treasure that could change your life. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy